Hello guys, how you doing? This is JP Sarri and welcome again to my channel. And today I want to answer some questions. Maybe this is the first time you're going into statue collecting. Maybe you are interested. Maybe you've been watching videos, my videos or someone else's videos, and you come into a place where you feel like, I want to get into statue collecting. Or maybe you already started, but you don't know where to go, what to do. You feel confused. It's so overwhelming, or maybe you've been doing this for quite a while. I feel like you have lost the magic, and you don't know how you got lost in the process. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to give you some tips to really help you out to get into this hobby or to stay in this hobby for the longest run. Step number one: vision. We all need to have a vision. And what is a vision? It's a dream. It's something that you envision in your life. Maybe before you get into statue collecting, you have to find out exactly what do you love the most. That will determine what you're going to collect. There's plenty franchises. It could be Marvel, it could be DC, Star Wars. People love movie stuff like movie franchises. I don't know, Jurassic Park, Dragon Ball. Manga, anything that you like. You have to find exactly what you love the most, because that's what you need to concentrate on. This is the important thing. A lot of people fail to see that. They come into statue collecting because everything looks so cool, but they don't know exactly what they want to accomplish. Or you have to have an idea in your mind, a dream, where you say, this is what I need to do, this is what I want to do. And once you get into it, once you decide what you're going to do, you're going to be able to build upon, on top of that. And that's extremely important. Maybe you say, well, I love a lot of things like I do. I love a lot of franchises because I'm a 80s kid, a 90s kid, teenager. So to me, I love a lot of stuff. But this is when you have to say, maybe sit down and in a piece of paper, you have to write down what are your favorite franchises. And from number 1 to number 10 or whatever, the one that is at the top should be the one that you need to concentrate on. And you say, but yeah, I want to collect other things. Well, everything with patience. If you're starting, it's better to start at point A before you get to point B. Point number 2, resources. You need to have the money. You need to have the funding, the financial backing for you to be able to purchase. Without it, there's no matter how much you like, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the disposable income, you're not going to be able to get into this hobby or last too long. And that's the important thing. A lot of people falter on this important point. You start expending money, you start buying stuff, sometimes out of just because you want to do it, but then you start getting yourself into a financial bind because you're overspending and you're pre-ordering stuff here, left and right, and you just digging your own hole, financial hole. And some people start using credit cards, or start using other means to pay for stuff, when technically you should use the money that is actually left out after all your expenses are met. This is the important part. Financial, the resources. You need to find out exactly how much you can spend. You have to budget yourself. And this is what you need, maybe to sit down, look at your numbers, how much money you spend a year, what expenses, what bills you have to pay. Maybe you're single, maybe you don't spend much money on certain things, but maybe you have a family, and you're a parent, you have kids, so maybe you just marry, you have a spouse. That's important. You have to bring your spouse, your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend into it. Point number 3, space. Space is extremely important. If you don't have the space for a collection, then definitely you shouldn't get into collectibles. We all live in different size homes. Everybody would love to have a museum. I would love to have a museum for everything, but you cannot. So you have to determine exactly what type of space you have. Maybe you live in a small apartment. Maybe you live in a big home. Maybe you have an extra room where you can actually convert into a collection room. Nice. Maybe you only have a small office and a small corner space, like I do. So whatever you do have, you have to come into a place where to say, well, you have to determine what can you put aside in your own home, in your own apartment, or wherever you live, where you can actually use or convert for a collection space. And that's important. That will determine. So you have to maybe measure what you have, what you can accomplish, based on your space, the space that you can, preserve at home for that. And that will help you to determine the size of your collection and the scale of your collection. What I mean the size, it means how many pieces you can buy and what type of scale you have. If you have plenty space, then you can go for the biggest pieces, for the bigger 1/3 life-size bust or all that stuff, the 1/4. But if you have a smaller space, maybe 1/6 is all you can afford in that space. Maybe you have the money to buy this stuff, the 1/4, but you don't have the space for the 1/4, only for the 1/6. So you need to really determine exactly what's the size and what type of scale you need, and you have to work accordingly. Those are important elements. Once you know that, then you're going to be able to accommodate, create a collection that really fits the profile, that fits the space, and it looks good and not crowded. Number 4, exposure and connections. What I mean by that, exposure is important. You know, maybe you already got it all figured out. You already have a dream. You say, I want to collect this franchise. I'm going after them. I have this type of money. I have a budget already set aside, some money for that. I already have the space that I need for that type of collection. But what do I need to go? Where do I need to go to get this stuff? What do I need to buy? That's the part a lot of people do not know and get confused, especially when they get into the hobbies. First thing, look for places where you can find information about everything that is already out there for sale or everything that is coming for sale. And the best place to go, in my opinion, has always been, the first place that always been, has been forums. Although forums are kind of going on the wayside because of the modern, social media, they're still important places where a lot of companies still gather, especially Statue Forum, which I'm part of. Statue Forum is a great place to see companies, and everything is in an order. You can actually go there. That's what I love about forums, is because there's a place where you can go and there's different sections where you can have different companies, and you can explore those sections and the collectibles that these companies produce. And there's companies that you never probably heard of because nobody's talking about it, but they are there and they're producing stuff, and companies already went out of business, but they still sold a lot of stuff, and it's there. That's a great place to go. And to know exactly what it is. Because let's say, I'm going to use an example. Maybe you're collecting Dragon Ball pieces. That's what you decided to do. But where do I get the Dragon Ball pieces? So I go to those forums. You go to forums like Statue Forum. There's Sideshow Freaks, which actually concentrate mainly in Sideshow, of course. And you have Statue Marvels that actually is kind of dormant right now because Bowen is not doing, they concentrate on Bowen. But there's other in different countries. There's a Statue Collector forums in Italy. So they speak Italian. In Brazil. For Iron Studios, for all these companies all over the world, in Asia, there's different forums where you can go, and they speak your language and people are telling you, and you can learn a lot. You learn a lot from them. Go to YouTube. That's where you're going to see a lot of videos. You can always, let's say you're collecting Wolverine statues. That's what you want to do, Wolverine or X-Men. Just type X-Men statues and you will see a whole list of statues popping up. Videos. Go to those videos. Look at what is out there. Go to different sites, look online, just type on Google it, and you'll find so much information, and you'll know exactly what you need to do. And based on scale, based on the size, based on the companies. Facebook groups are great now, the new thing where a lot of people go into Facebook and they put all the information there. The only thing with Facebook, and I said this before, it's just that there's so much hearsay there because everything is just popping up as it comes. And people talk about the new thing, but not necessarily about the old things. And maybe that's what you need to start collecting some of the older stuff that is still priced it's in a good price range, but that's what you're looking for. And you need more information than just the new thing, the new piece on a statue, on a throne, or the new Batman or the new Superman, which you are going to see all the time, and everybody's telling you which one is best, and everybody's fighting and arguing, which is just waste of time in my opinion. So just go the exposure, and it's important to have the connections. Make friends on the Facebook groups or on the statue forums. Make friends, it's important. In my experience as a person that has come into collecting, making friends helped me a lot to find the things that I needed to. To find the statues that I wanted to. Ask questions, don't be afraid to tell people, hey, I'm looking for this piece. Do you know someone that is selling? There's a lot of, buy, sell, and trade pages on Facebook where you can actually find a lot of stuff, and you ask the right questions, and these are worldwide. And you're not paying eBay prices, you can find, good deals. Point number 5, and this is very important, this is when everything kind of comes together. Plan and strategy. What do you mean by that? What I mean by that? Plan and a strategy are extremely important. Once you get it all figured out, once you know exactly what your vision is, and once you know how much money you are able to spend, or the space that you have, and you know where to go, what companies you want, and what pieces do you want, then you need to make a plan. And that's the part where a lot of people really fail. Make a plan, and that means maybe you need to create a spreadsheet. Maybe you're not computer savvy, then create some type of grab some type of notebook and write down a list of how you want to tackle the situation, how you want to get these pieces. I'm gonna give you a secret of mine. When I started collecting, I created my own list. I'm always been I love a strategy. I'm a strategist. So I create my own spreadsheet, my own list, and on that spreadsheet I put all the pieces that I really want to, and I do it based on the franchises that I wanted to. Once you do that, you put the pieces that prioritize the ones you want first. And always on one column, I always have the prices that I'm expecting to pay, or the price that they sold out, the price that I really want to pay on them. And I set my goal into, if I want to, let's say there's a Captain America that I like, I want to pay only no more than $300. That's what I set myself. Maybe everybody's selling it at $400 or $500, but I say no, I'm going to pay only $300, and I just make a plan. I might not get it, but eventually at some point I will get it. Maybe I pay that amount, maybe I pay a little more. Maybe a good deal comes, because deals are out there and people are willing to sell stuff for the newer stuff. But my eyes are set on this piece, so I want to get it, so I just make that plan. And I create what to prioritize. If I'm going, let's say an example, if I'm doing a DC collection, you must have a Superman, you must have a Batman, you must have a Wonder Woman. So those are extremely important. You prioritize those. And you compare. Sometimes, one piece is too expensive, and you might have to change that. Just go along, but you make a plan. You strategize how much money you can spend a year, what pieces you can buy a year. Maybe you set up a way where you put pre-orders on the list. Make a list. Make a plan how you want to tackle the plan. Once you start doing that, you're going to see progress. Little by little, you progress. Don't just simply go and buy whatever comes out because it looks nice. But when it comes to you, you realize that actually it doesn't fit in your vision. It doesn't fit in your collection. That's extremely important. Plan. Make a strategy. How you want to tackle the problems. How you want to buy the stuff. How you want to hit. Don't just simply go on eBay and as soon as you see Captain America that you like and it's at $500, you won't buy it, and it blew your budget. You'll maybe only have a $1,000 budget per year, and all of a sudden you spend, I don't know, $900 on a piece or a statue that actually ultimately is not going to fit everything that you were planning on. So, don't do that. Just don't go crazy. And finally, the important point, I think the most important, the one that kind of like after you brought it all together, you started your plan and you start already buying, there's an important aspect. I think the one that most people forget, you need flexibility and you need patience. You have to be patient. What is patience? You have to learn to wait. You need to know that there are times where you're not going to be able to accomplish what you want. That your plan, you have everything in place, but the plan doesn't work out as well. You're buying a piece, maybe cost you $300, and the person is selling it for $300, and the aftermarket is for $500, and you're so happy about it. And then the person turns around and says, "You know what? I changed my mind." What are you gonna do? Are you gonna get upset about it? Are you gonna just cry out wolf, and then you're gonna just go into your own happy place and get depressed about it and give up on your collection? No, you can't. You have to learn to deal with the discouragement and disappointment, which happens everywhere and everything, and that includes this hobby. And you move on. Maybe you don't get the piece that you want. Maybe you bought that coveted piece and you're just waiting on it and it comes broken. Things happen, so you have to be patient. You have to wait, and it takes time. Many other hobbies, you can go into it and you can just build something up and out of nowhere in no time. Could be, you can go, and there's cheaper hobbies, and that's the part we have to realize. This is a hobby that for the long run, you can go into video games today, which doesn't take much. You only buy a console. Maybe you spend a high-end console for $400, $500, like the Xbox X or the PS4 Pro for $400. You buy those, and you can actually gather games, cheaper games, easily, and you build a collection. If that brings joy, then just do it, because statue collecting is not like that. It's not like you can find everything easily at the store, at the supermarket, and order it on Amazon and it's going to be priced, accordingly cheaper. No, you're going to find a lot of deals, sometimes deals, and sometimes you're not going to find any deals. So you have to learn to wait, take your time, and build things little by little. It's all about constructing the stuff until everything starts taking shape, and that might take years. It could take months. I see people that going crazy. And then you see that they got in a year, 2 years, they have such a huge collection. All I see is people say, "Wow, that's amazing, you're great." All I see is a person that got itself in debt, because it's unbelievable that somebody that has pieces that are priced at $1,000 all of a sudden has, I don't know, $20,000 to spend. I'm sorry, but even if you are very financially successful, you are very irresponsible financially. You know, because there's no way that you can spend $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in just 1 year without having an effect in your pocket. I'm sorry, unless you're selling drugs or you're doing something that is illegal, there's no way. And then I'm not saying that because I know people that have very successful with their businesses, and they, you know, have friends of all the different financial statuses, and they have great businesses, international businesses, and that's it. But even though a good person that handles money knows that being smart about your money is extremely, extremely important. And you know, like flexibility, like I said, is so important. You have to change the plan. You have to be able to adjust to the plan. There's changes that happen in life. Sometimes the space gets shorter. Maybe you need to move to a smaller home. Maybe you, because of work, you need to move to another town. And now your town or where you live, the setup is going to be totally different. So you're going to have to adjust and be flexible with it. Maybe the line that you were collecting all of a sudden stop, and you know they're not collecting anymore. What you going to do? You know, Bowen is not longer selling stuff out. So what are you going to do when a company closes its doors? You know, what are you going to do in order to finish your lines? You know, maybe you need to go a different route. Maybe you need to, you know, collect from a different company, or maybe go into customs. I don't know. There's things that you're going to have to plan, and you have to be able to adjust and adapt. Adaptability is important in anything, and especially in this hobby. Things are going to change, and things are going to happen so fast that sometimes you don't realize how fast they happen. Sometimes you don't realize the changes happen. So you have to adapt. You know, maybe your finances change. Maybe you're making enough money all of a sudden you lose your job, or you have a child, or you want to buy a new home, or you start a business, so the money is not there. So you're gonna have to be patient and flexible with it, and not get despair, you know, and disoriented about it. Because at the end of the day, it's just a hobby. It's not a life. It's not your life. It's not who you are as a person. It's a reflection of who you are, but it's not who you are. The most important thing is your family, yourself as a person, your health, you know, your happiness that comes from the inside and not from the outside. And now to come to a conclusion, all these 6 are important. Once you get all figured out, you're able to get into this. And I'm telling you this from my own personal experience. Maybe you're starting this, you know, and you don't know where to go. Follow the simple 6 steps and it will help you. Maybe you already started, but you feel a bit confused and you don't know what you're doing, or maybe you're already in on it and you don't see, you know, where the tail, you don't see the head and the whole ordeal. Everything is, you're lost in the middle. So you know, maybe it's time to kind of reshape things out and start thinking and start planning and following the steps. Like I said, you have to have a vision. You have to have the money. You have to have the space. You have to have, in this case, the exposure. You need to know people. You need to know where to go to get information. You need to have the plan. You need to strategize the plan. And you need to have that patience and that flexibility to go along the process. Those are extremely, extremely important steps. Without those steps, you ain't gonna accomplish much. And you know, my invitation is just to do it. And believe me, you're gonna fail. You're gonna make mistakes. I have made mistakes. Why do I say all of this? All these 6 steps I have failed in all of them, one way or another. You know, but you know, nobody, when you come to this, nobody tells you what to do. Nobody really tells you, hey, or teach you, or takes you on the wayside and says, hey, JP, let me help you, let me guide you through the process. You're gonna have to ask questions, and people are not really a bit reluctant to share that information. But I'm sharing it with you, so you don't feel disappointed. And you don't feel like, you know, this is not what you expected, that everything seems so glamorous at first and now everything seems to be a burden. Don't allow that to happen, and always keep concentrate your vision, concentrate your mind in what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, and you will see that success in everything you do, not only in this hobby but in everything else. So once again, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate spending time with you, and you know, I'll see you in the next one. God bless, my friends.